Benny's Adventure Team? Assemble! Adventure time! Off we go!
Hey, little birdie, don't feel down. Come and perch on my shoulder. Don't be shy. I'll show you around town. Really? No wonder they never pay attention to me. Forget it. I probably shouldn't be anthropomorphizing them anyway. Haven't seen you in some time. To which one of the Animo Archon's winds do I owe the honor? Oh, is this your way of saying that you missed me? Since it wasn't meant to be with this little birdie, I'd better leave it alone. Let's take a walk, shall we? If you're wondering why I'm here, Jean's been worrying about trade safety recently. I discovered this when I unwittingly burst into her office to save the day. Another job involving long-distance travel falls to me. I suppose it's my own fault for having such a strong sense of duty. Still, on the bright side, business is now taken care of. And I have unused travel funds, so I was planning to...
Gundafar, we are in the middle of a war. Your place is at the front lines by my son's side. Pray tell, what provokes your unwarranted return to the palace?
A matter of utmost importance, Your Majesty, such that I must personally report it.
Huh. Outdoor theater. Looks fun. Yes. Here's what I was thinking about the unused funds. Given that the acting Grand Master saw fit to allocate these funds to my trip in the first place, I think it's my responsibility to make sure that every last mora is put to good use. In other words, what do you say we find a way to spend the remaining budget? Perhaps a fancy meal at a nice restaurant? Or a river cruise that takes in the sights of Sumeru City? Or we could buy a few nice Hey, no need to put it like that. Let's keep walking. We can consider it some more on the road. The rules of the Knights of Favonius state that any and all expenditures during a business trip are counted as travel expenses. That's more than enough justification to live a little. Of course, with me being here on my own, it was looking like a wasted opportunity.
What you see is what we've got.
But now that I've run into you, why don't we make this a joint trip? You're always so busy. It's high time you gave yourself a proper break. Even the sharpest blade loses its edge if it's always in use. Regular maintenance is essential. And anyway, life is short, so we should make the most of the time we have. Right now is the perfect time to relax and enjoy ourselves. And who knows how many other chances we'll get. So come on, what do you say? Great. Music to my ears. I'll cover it. There's nothing more enjoyable than the company of a good friend. Now, let me think where we should go. How about Liyue? I'd be heading past there on my way back to Mondstadt anyway, so it's not out of the way. Well, lucky me. I'll hold you to that. Liyue's Ministry of Civil Affairs frequently corresponds with the Knights of Favonius, so the address on their letterhead is one of the few places I'm familiar with. I don't have much luggage, so it won't take me long to pack. Give me a moment, and then we'll head there together. I've heard that there's lots to see and do in Liyue, but I'm sure you're more familiar with the place than I am, so I'll leave the itinerary to you. Great. Maybe you can tell me about your previous travels here along the way. It's such a satisfying feeling to just drop everything, go on a long trip, and see something new. Who knows who we might cross paths with? We might even end up going on an impromptu adventure. Do you know this shop? It looks pretty nice from the outside. Shall we take a look?
Join the adventurers
Welcome to Mingxing Jewelry. We are a long-established trader of precious stones. Is there...
Let me see. Ah, some nice jewelry you've got here. Maybe I can grab something with a local flavor as a souvenir. What do you think, traveler? See anything that suits my style? I trust your judgment.
Ah, you're interested in souvenirs. If you're looking for a specific design, we can make it to your specifications.
Oh, that's a pity. I'm just visiting and I won't be in town for very long. So as...
No worries at all, sir. If you're looking for something off the shelf, why not go and see Mr. Shurto at the Jade Mystery? He also deals in jade and precious stones. Exactly. But on that note, there's no risk in purchasing a piece of jade. I won't say any more, as I don't want my fellow vendors to think I'm bad-mouthing them. It's only human nature to spend a little when you're on a trip. The Ministry of Civil Affairs takes everyone's economic well-being very seriously.
I think that's sound advice wherever you go into that.
Welcome! Looking for uncut stones or pre-cut?
Uncut stones. Ah, yes, we were just briefed on that. Let's take a look at the pre-cut jade.
I believe I detect a quiet but distinct tone of apprehension in your work. Feel free to peruse at your leisure. I think you'll find... Sure, you can bet on jade and lose... My terms are clear and transparent.
Sounds perfectly reasonable. At the end of the day, it doesn't matter how much the vendor is charging.
Yes, exactly. I'm glad you understand. Anyway, betting on jade is what it is. I'll leave you to browse at your own pace now while...
Amber-colored jade would probably make for a good souvenir. Why not? This is a quirky little place. Somehow, I'm inclined to entertain him for a bit. Well, if you're not interested, then I guess we'll pass.
Ahoy there, Captain! Fancy seeing you back in town.
What, a poor sailor like me? You must be joking. I barely managed to make—
Hey! Keep your voice down. Can't you see I've got customers? But more to the point, when have you ever...
I mean, you want the full list? Or... Hold up. Is Captain Kaeya? What?
Oh, just taking a short trip with my friend. It's been a while.
Yes, it's been a good while, hasn't it?
Anywhere you'd recommend I visit while I'm here?
Let me think. Wanmin Restaurant's always a pretty good bet. Chef Mao's daughter is a skilled chef, and their prices are very reasonable. My wife can't get enough of their boiled fish. You could give that a try. And, speaking of my wife, she won't let me forget what a great help you've been to us before. So thank you, on her behalf.
Your wife? Ah, yes.
Very well, thank you. Very well. Anyway, I've got something I need to do down at the South Wharf, so my apologies, Captain Kaeya, but I'd better get
All right. See you. Ah, I finally remembered who that was. Captain Wu.
I see. So you went through that whole conversation with no idea who you were talking to. Well, that explains the generic pleasantries. Old Wu's usually quite the chatterbox, so it's very unusual for him to just take off mid-conversation. How exactly—
An educated guess. Yes, you could put it like that. It's pretty straightforward, honestly. The captain was making a delivery to Mondstadt when his ship sprang a leak. He overexerted himself fixing it and keeping the cargo dry, and ended up passing out from exhaustion.
Well, it still seems strange to me. Sure, he's hardly the most charming conversationalist, and he's also mighty stubborn, but all of us know Old Wu is an honest and kind— His eldest was once playing on that big rock over there, when he took a tumble and injured himself. I helped to patch the kid up, and the next day, Old Wu was here to buy a couple of I'm just surprised he was so quick to excuse himself, that's all. Normally, he's the kind of guy who, if you run into him on the street and he owes you a favor, he'll grab you by the hand and think—
Well, stubborn, I can believe. Someone had drilled a gaping hole in his ship, and the water was coming in fast. How he managed to make it all the way to Mondstadt, not to mention with his cargo intact.
Someone drilled a hole in his ship? Oh dear. There must have been one of the less savory captains out there trying to sabotage his business, so they can squeeze their way into the market. When competition is stiff, sometimes things get ugly. His line of work isn't easy. The poor fellow usually has to set sail before the break of dawn. He's been loitering. Competition is fierce these days, and there's not a lot of mora to be made in shipping. So anyway, I digress. We merchants protect our goods like our own lives, so who knows? Maybe he had some important
I am an upstanding member of the Knights of Favonius after all. Just look me in the eyes. Don't you find me trustworthy?
Since you asked about recommendations earlier, you're here from Mondstadt, yes? Might I suggest the tea? If memory serves, they're just about to retell the tale of brave...
Huh. Sounds interesting.
I just like to make people smile.
What should I try this time?
Off we go! Adventure time!
Cuisine is inedible.
Huh. So this is the Hu Tea House.
Ah, we meet again, Captain. What a coincidence. Twice in one day. Oh, that didn't take me long. And
Wu, weren't you just at Wanwen Bookhouse buying a book?
Shh, just leave it be, Anjong. There's no need to embarrass him right now. I take it that you two aren't from around these parts. I'm a caravan guard by trade, and meeting people from all over the world is one of the main...
Oh, seems like the tea house is the place to be in Liyue. Did you manage to get something for your daughter just now?
yes, thank you. If it weren't for you, Captain Kaeya, she might not have even made it into this world.
I'm so lost, Wu. What's this?
Your wife's originally from Mondstadt, isn't she? Did you run into Captain Kaeya when you were there on business, or...
The latter. Oh, this is so humiliating. Anyway, back when my wife was pregnant, we were taking a trip to Mondstadt to visit her parents this one time, when we were mugged by a group of treasure hoarders near Dawn Winery.
Oh, that sounds awful.
I mean, he's still here, and he's still got all his limbs, so they can't have...
Yes, he did. Thankfully, he heard my wife crying for... My wife was injured and quite shaken up by the ordeal.
So, what happened?
I was...
Huh? What did you jump in the water for? You know they can still get you in there, right?
No, that's not... They threw me into the water.
They did what? Did they have a weird fetish or something?
The treasure hoarders always move in groups, and fighting back when you're outnumbered isn't usually an option. It's no surprise.
Captain Kaeya, please, there's no need for you to try. Yet, despite that, I somehow will... They tossed me into the water to humiliate me, and to use it as leverage to get my wife to pay up. But they didn't know that I could swim. What I'd intended was to pretend to drown, then sneak back onto shore while they weren't looking, and find a... That was before Captain Kaeya appeared out of nowhere and saved the day. But God knows what they did with my clothes. I couldn't find them anywhere. By the time I gave up looking for them, you were most of the way to the winery, so I had to run after you with nary a thing on myself.
Outrageous!
So, what happened next?
I made it to the winery, but the maids noticed me first. After my wife recovered consciousness, she had to have a long talk with the young lord to explain.
Ugh, good luck living that one down.
Trust me, I know. My wife never.
I'm sorry, Captain. I wasn't intending to share that story.
It's fine. It's my own fault for thinking I could sweep it under the carpet and forget about it. I don't know if I. Still, it won't stop me from. In fact.
I wonder how much Fanaria caught of that. Old Wu.
Oh, poor Wu.
He really didn't have to share all the details of that story. But since he didn't seem to mind, I wasn't about to stop him. I did actually forget at first, but once he brought up his daughter, the memory of his naked escapades came flooding back. D-Luke thought some pervert was harassing the maids. He charged straight out the door, great sword in hand and raring to go. I haven't seen him so angry in a... So many people owe me favors nowadays. Hey, you didn't think I was being serious, did you? Do I really strike you as the kind of person to keep track of favors in a notebook? I just helped the guy out on a couple of occasions because I happened to be in the right place at the right time.
I'm back with fruit. Please help yourselves, everyone. My treat.
Thank you.
Oh, don't mention it. It's just a few fruits. Once my new pharmaceutical business takes off and I have more to spare, I'll...
Pharmaceutical business. So you found a new career? No.
Shipping's impossible work nowadays. There's too much competition and the margins are too small. So I've decided to switch gears. I'm going to become a partner of Boo Boo Pharmacy and provide funding for a brand new medic. It's specially formulated to treat seasonal joint and limb pain. If you didn't know, I've suffered from it myself, which is why I know that it's a good cause and a stable source of income. Whichever way you look at it, it's...
That's impressive, Wu. I wouldn't have thought you had the connections for something like that.
Oh no, not Dr. Baiju. Actually, it was his master, Dr. Baifudze. He gave me a few of his traditionally formulated bone-strengthening pills when he saw...
Dr. Baiju's master?
Yeah. I told him I'd be enthusiastically recommending his medicine to the other guys at the... He said that he shouldn't really be handing out free prescriptions since...
But I got chatting with Dr. Baiju recently when the Secure Transport Agency did a delivery for Boo Boo Pharmacy.
Huh? Why would he say something like that? I mean,
Captain Wu, where did you meet this?
Just out on the street? I know that sounds dubious.
Hold on a second. I just remembered something. My nephew-in-law met a medicine seller not too long ago, too. He spent a lot of mora on it, but when he brought it to Boo Boo Pharmacy, Herbalist Gui took one look and told him he'd bought nothing but regular painkiller. This Baifudze you met. Did he by any chance have a goatee and salt and pepper hair?
He did.
If I may, Captain Wu, there's a lot of mora involved here. It seems like it would be worth asking this Dr. Baiju about his master, just to set the record.
You're right, Captain Kaeya. A quick trip to Boo Boo Farm.
He left in a hurry. He must be stressed out of his mind right now.
Hey, let him deal with this, okay? No point in you stressing yourself out, too. Fraud or not, it's up to Captain Wu to figure out I'm no Dark Knight hero. Or martial arts hero, for that matter. And neither are you. Wait, or are you? Now that I think about it, I can see you having a secret double life as a martial arts hero here in... Either way, Liyue has its own rules and regulations. Best to let the Ministry of Civil Affairs deal with this in the proper manner. If a couple of outlanders like us get involved, we might just end up muddying the water. We came here to enjoy ourselves, remember? We don't want to get our
It is said that the sky's the limit for the aspirational soul. But alas, yet fate fortuitous found him when he entered the tutelage of an adeptus and learned many mystical arts from them. Per his master's wishes, he then
Is that all? Oh, I was hoping to hear the rest of the story. It was all right. I suppose the hero always has to sacrifice himself to save others, and it does make for some good story.
Oh, I see the show is over. Yeah, I saw Dr. Baiju. Looks like it was a scam after.
Then what are you waiting for? Don't just stand there. You need to report this to the Ministry of...
Hold on. Let's not lose our cool. Get your story straight first, so you can give them a clear and detailed account of events.
Well, I'd arranged to meet him at the Yunshang Tea House once I've withdrawn the next sum of Mora, so I suppose he'll still be waiting on that.
Okay, so you've got another meeting lined up.
I've got no one to blame but myself for this. Young lady, you're a good person, and I'm touched by your words of comfort. Still, it's up to me to find a way. The consequences are mine alone to bear. At my age, I'm sure I should be...
It's obvious, isn't it? He needs to report the case to the Ministry of Civil Affairs. Come with me. I am quite curious. How does our chivalrous martial arts hero intend to come to Captain Wu's rescue? There are countless victims of injustice in the world. We can't try to help each and every one of them, can we? Oh, I'm surprised. I didn't know you thought of me as someone who helps others. I'm genuinely flattered. But we both know that I'm not that kind of person, really. Your logic is very straightforward, and quite endearing in its simplicity. But I like how you think. So I'll indulge your martial arts hero aspirations for now. Captain Wu, how would you...
I'm sorry?
Let's say, if it could be done, and the only cost was owing me yet another favor.
What exactly are you getting at?
The traveler here is adamant that you should ask me for another favor. Personally, I blame the storyteller. After the inspiring tale of Bravebeard, she's all gung-ho.
Captain Kaeya, young lady, thank you.
All right. All right, then it's settled. You're here. Good. You've got nothing to worry about. Before I toss the coin, I'll get our guy to bet heads or tails. Then it's your turn to bet. Now remember, if I touch my chin, you bet heads. If I touch my forehead, you go for tails.
Hello. Are you waiting for someone? As long as you follow the rules of the tea house, you're...
From the way you describe it, Liyue does sound like an attractive... All that awaits me back in Mondstadt is a horde of insufferable sycophants. Truly tedious.
I understand. For one as ambitious as yourself, Mr. Rich, living off of the family fortune must feel like the dullest existence in the world.
What are you doing? It's common courtesy to introduce yourself. Can't you see we got here first? They're running out of tables, huh? Looks like this location's getting too small for them.
So, my friend, what's your name?
Here is the tea that you ordered.
Ugh, this tea is... Mr. Bai, this has been a most pleasant and insightful conversation. I consider it good fortune that I encountered such a refined gentleman as yourself.
Yes, good fortune indeed. In that case, I must thank you for your generosity.
You there. I'll get yours too. Oh, you can't tell? My family's lived in Mondstadt for generations. I got bored sitting around at home and decided to set off. The sights of Liyue Harbor are rather spectacular. I've half a mind to buy a waterfront property here so I can come vacationing every year. That would be quite nice. If the family would spare me a little loose change, and the point of life is to enjoy yourself. If something makes me happy, it's worth every mo-
Mr. Rich, just to clarify, that's quite a large sum of mora as far as the common woman is concerned. It's understandable that our friend over here feels out of her league.
The name's Albert. Surname Rich. But only the servants in the house address me as Mr. Rich. Now that we're so well acquainted, Mr.
Albert does have a nice ring to it. It is...
You flatter me. What say you to acting as my guide during my time in Liyue? I'll pay you handsomely if...
No need, my good friend. I shan't be so vulgar as to take your more. To join a noble gentleman on his travels is a rare opportunity.
You there. You're welcome to Guhua, huh? Strange choice of name. Gotta say, I've been in Liyue for a while now. This is the first...
Yes, well, there are many martial arts clans and factions in Liyue. It's only natural...
Ha, fair enough. Still, weird name. Bet they have... Seriously, though, what kind of skills do you guys train anyway? It's all for show, right? I saw some... I already told the server to put it on my tab. Don't bother getting her to split the bill. It'll only complicate things.
Young lady, there's no need to take things so seriously. Why don't you loosen up and enjoy the free drink?
Are you trying to make a point by throwing my generosity back in my face? All right then. What if I say your bill is mine and don't let you pay?
Please, my friends, let's not get so worked up. Yinchang Tea House is no venue for a duel. We'll all get escorted right out the door. You young people have hot tempers, I understand that.
Did I hear that right? So you'll only pay for yourself if you win, but I'll get the check for the three of us if you lose. It's not that I care about the Mora. After all, I offered to pay for everyone's drinks in the first place. No, what I find truly absurd is your refusal to play fair. I demand that you also pay for three if you win. Fine. You can have your apology if you win, but on one condition. We'll do the best of three, and the winner pays for the table.
Well, as long as you're no longer raring to fight, peace begets...
Why do you join us, Mr. Bai? Let's entertain this gal for a sec.
But I...
What are you trying to say, Mr. Bai? Whose side are you on here?
Of course.
And anyway, it's no big deal if you win. It's just a few cups of tea after all. See...
all right then. I suppose it's not all that different from the dice...
All right, now we're talking. Okay, now that we've agreed on the rules, how should... Well, that should be simple enough. Here, I'll take this coin and ask the counter to draw a line on one side. You two can wait for me.
Young lady, I can see that you haven't spent many years in the real world. You take every... I, too, only met this Mondstadt millionaire by complete chance today. But we're getting along just fine. In the real world, you've got to keep up. You young people are much too impulsive.
Just so we're clear, let's say the marked side is heads, and the unmarked side is tails. Everyone has to pick a side before the coin toss. Oh, and no takebacks. We should also take turns tossing the coin.
Sounds fair to me.
All right then, I'll start us off. Here we... Oh, wait, I nearly forgot to collect everyone's bets. Mr. Bai, heads or tails?
I suppose the choice is arbitrary since it's a 50-50 chance. I'll go with tails.
Let me think. I'll also go with tails. What about you? Heads or tails?
Oh, darn, I won. Lucky me, I guess.
I won as well. Guess there might be a formal apology in the cards after all. I have a suggestion. If one of us loses twice in a row, they should get knocked out while the other two carry on playing to decide the winner. Otherwise, with three of us playing, it'll start... I flipped the coin last time, so why don't you go next? I don't want you blaming my coin-tossing skills if you guess wrong this turn.
Now just wait a second, my dear friends. Please.
Oh? Anxious to take your
You are both young, and I've already seen your short tempers for myself. If Albert loses this round and this young lady wins, you'll be tied. And before you know it, you'll be at each other's throats again. Well, that's not my only consideration, either. You two may be too young to know this, but I've been around the block a few. In dice games, people use all. If Albert wins the next round, and you, young lady, lose for the second time in a row, then the third round will just be a tiebreaker between. If that happens, only for you to then find out that the coin was rigged all along, you're sure to accuse me of what? A purely hypothetical scenario, of course, but one that I'm bringing up now to.
Very diligent of you indeed, Mr. Bai. Looks like I chose the right person to be my guide. Here.
A rigged coin will always be a little heavier than a normal coin, you see.
What's your bet this time, Mr. Bai?
I'll stick with tails.
Tails, huh? Well, you seem to have a feel for this, so I guess I'll match your bet again this round. Tails it is. And you?
Well, my luck's still just about holding out. The three of us are now tied.
Mm-hmm. Well, here you go.
It's a tough decision this time.
That's what makes it fun, isn't it? Anyway, there's no need to stress.
You make a good point. All right, I'll take heads.
Okay, and now it's my turn to guess. Not that the outcome matters.
Why did it have to be heads? This whole thing started because you two got into a spat. What say you?
Sure, why not? I'm having fun. I can go for as many rounds as you want. What a miserly person. Do as you please. The two of us can play.
But, Albert, all the fun of gambling is...
Oh, come on now. No need to walk on egg...
Sure. That's exactly...
Well, here's the coin. You can toss first. I'll take heads.
I'll choose...
Wouldn't it defeat the whole purpose of betting if you guessed the same as me? This is a two-person game now. Surely one of us has to guess heads and the other tails.
All right. It all comes down to luck, after all. I'll take tails. Ooh, looks like Rex Lapis has smiled upon me to...
Look at you getting so giddy over some chump change. It's like you've...
Well, in that case, would you care for another?
Sure. And let's up the stakes a little this time. Shall we?
Oh, maybe that's a little on the high side.
What, 50,000? But that's just a single day's go...
All right. I'll bet...
Great, then I'll bet heads. No take. Head.
Oh, how unfortunate. I shouldn't have gotten greedy. Albert, I'm terribly sorry, but as it happens, I forgot to bring my coin.
Advance payment? Sorry, I'm afraid...
This day, just getting better and better.
Just 50,000? That's not...
Huh? What are you talking about? I think you're...
No, it wasn't. The amount was 1 million.
1 million? Are you insane? Come on now, Albert. Be serious. 1 million here.
I'm being perfectly serious. I know what I said, and what...
You're lying through your teeth. Huh? What the... I'm not... Oh, I see. I've never met either of you before today, and... Do you have any idea? Well, don't you try to celebrate just yet. Do you really think that nobody else will have heard all the commotion? Frauds! Frauds, I say!
How pathetic.
What is going on here? If you can't abide by our rules, you're not welcome at Yenshang Tea House. I don't care what the issue is. You don't...
Wait, don't throw me out! These two...
Well, let's take this somewhere else. I don't want any of you disturbing... Okay, you two. Care to
Gladly. He's making up completely spurious claims. He won 250,000 from me, then another 800,000 from the both of us. Now...
Okay, so after settling up, a total of 1 million mora should have changed hands. Sounds
It's a complete pack of lies!
Sorry to interrupt you all, but you're witnesses to the situation here.
Oh, thank goodness you're finally here. What took you so long? That old guy...
Leave me out of this. I want nothing to do with gamblers and scammers.
Our new owner laid down the law not too long ago. We turn a blind eye towards casual games of dice, but there is zero tolerance for any explicit gambling with real mora. Return any winnings to the party you took them from, and we'll say that none of this ever happened. Otherwise, I'll have to bring in the Millilith. And I can assure you that they take a more hard line on this kind of...
Why should I have to give them any mora?
Oh, but I think you do. 2 investments, was it? One of them to the tune of exactly 1 million, as it happens. Oh.
You...
Halberd! Fang! There's a gentleman here that I'd
Please, please don't. I'll pay.
This was never your mora to begin with. We'll be returning it to its rightful owner now. What did you think, Captain Wu? Could you...
Yes, everything.
Woo. This was your doing, wasn't it? Along with that blonde one. And I know where you live, and I know what your wife...
Who'd be scared of a crook like you? I'll take you on any day.
Well, let's see how long that false
Oh, look at that. He figured it out. Guess he's not as dumb as...
Don't you two get cocky either.
My apologies for having to leave this question until you'd vacated the premises. But I couldn't have things escalate inside the tea house. I noticed that all the guests on the second floor were present before you took your seats, then left. Would I be correct in saying you were looking to set this man up?
Wait, so you saw through it right away?
Under normal circumstances, we would never tolerate a scheme like this taking place on our grounds. However, I understand that our owner holds the Traveler in high regard, and must have good reasons for their actions.
Ah, as I thought. When you're operating on someone else's turf, you run the risk of clashing with the master of the house. Over to you, brave hero. You're the one with...
Okay. I understand the situation now.
Well, Captain Wu, remember what I promised you? What do you think?
Excuse me, coming through.
Yes, that's him all right.
Wait! Where's your evidence?
You can't talk your way out of this one. You're already suspected of defrauding multiple victims out of smaller amounts, and the combined total meets the threshold for a conviction. If it turns out you're guilty in this case too, it'll only add to... Does the plaintiff have any witnesses? If you got tangled up in this too, huh? In that case, please come with me. Your witness statements will... Don't worry, we won't take up too much of your time. And you, sir...
Hey, keep your hands off me. I'll cooperate.
Thank you so much, the both of you.
Well, I have an idea. We originally came here to do some...
Let me think. Now, where would I want to go?
Sounds fun to me.
Off we go!
Well, this was certainly an eventful end to my trip. Wouldn't be much of a lucky coin if it had. Besides, you still need some practice to master the technique, but luckily it decided to play nice and a better question to ask might be, what do I do to make this coin happy to work with me and show? My answer would be that I tell the coin a joke every time I toss it into the air. Of course, this whole arrangement hinges on a pre-existing amount of trust between the two of us. Yeah, I was a little surprised when he unwittingly called out our trick coin, but it didn't matter. A good gambler always keeps their options open. You have to. So when I went to the counter, I marked a regular coin as well as my trick one. That safely avoided any risk of him finding out about the trick coin. But it also meant that we wouldn't be able to control the result. But hey, what does it matter? The fact that he made things a little more challenging only made it all the more exciting to watch him, especially listening to him warn us about the possibility of a rigged coin. As long as I chose the same bet as him, and you bet the opposite to me, then things would have gotten real.
You two are genuinely the smartest people I've ever met. I'm no intellectual, so... Well, I may not be the smartest guy around, but one thing I do... We were just ordinary acquaintances. If there's anything I can ever do for you in the future...
Oh? You seem agitated. Are you worried about... There are two kinds of people who owe me favors. One is my friends, and the other my informants. My informants have to fulfill whatever requests I make of them. No... Ah, and you're torn again. Too afraid to ask to be my friend, but also well, it's okay. Because I just thought of a fun and easy way to get us out of the... This is the regular coin I prepared for the contingency plan when I was borrowing a pen from the If it's heads, we're friends. But if it's tails, you're at my beck and call.
So, was it heads or...
What do you think? What does your heart tell you?
I understand now. You have my most sincere...
Benny's adventure team, assemble! Or not.
This is why I do not do hangouts. Oh my god. Oh. Well, that ends on
Let's go find some
hangout
treasure.
for Kaeya. Oh my goodness. Dramatic. This is why I don't do hangouts. But this is Genshin Impact. I just thought I'd try at least one of the hangouts because I usually don't do that.
Ow!
I end up, hopefully by that time, I'll do some more stuff, some more gameplay just with domains and other stuff. And hopefully soon we'll have some new content study going from the Future Fontaine and more. So this is Gar2424 in Genshin Impact. I will catch y'all later.